Welcome to Lackluster Video, the only video store left on Earth, and I'm the guy stuck working the counter. I don't know if I'm going to do this spiel on every episode, but since we're here, I'm doing it. If you're subscribed already, thank you so much. You made it before closing time, but if not, sorry, bud. You're going to get charged the late fee. Today's movie, K-pop Demon Hunters. So for K-pop Demon Hunters, I would be lying if I said that I went into this movie with an open mind. I saw this for a few months. All right, let's say I saw it for a month on Netflix. And my first thought was, this is going to be some AI-generated hogwash. Nothing but some hogwash. I have to get out of my grumpy old man mindset. That's what I got to do, because I feel like I'm starting to turn into one of those people who, like, when they see something new and original, my first thought is like, it's not going to be as good as the old shit. I mean, not to make excuses for that mindset, but Netflix did go on a run of horrible movies, in my opinion. I don't want to say horrible. I don't want to insult you guys. I couldn't do what you guys do. Look at me. Look at me. Who am I to say it's horrible? Yeah, so that's what made me hesitate to put this movie on, because I did think about it a few times. I said, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to be the first person to like it. Watch. But I didn't. I slacked. Yeah, I'll just always end up putting Seinfeld on or something instead. So this movie came out June 20th on Netflix. Look how late I was. It's an action musical. You don't see that every day. But it is right up my alley because, you know, I like action. I like fighting. And musicals are a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, if I do say so myself. I do like to dabble in the musicals. It's currently sitting at a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. 97! Well, at the time that I wrote this. And a 7.7 on IMDb. So these are great scores. For a Netflix original animation, this is amazing. Okay, so let's talk about the cast. I'll start with the main band called Huntrix. Made up of 3 girls. Rumi, voiced by Arden Cho. She's like the lead singer, and she's my fave. Then we have Mira, who's voiced by Mei Hong. She's like the tough one, I guess you could say. She comes across like a badass. Zoe is the rapper. She's voiced by Ji Young Yu. She's the youngest, and they really did a good job of putting that across with the way that she acts. She seems like a little sister to the other girls throughout the whole movie. Okay, and then we have their competition, a demon boy band that goes by the Saja Boys. I feel so weird, like, introducing this movie and talking about it. It feels like not only a kid thing, but it feels like a girl thing. And, yeah, who cares? I'm not ashamed. I'm not. Don't talk about me. Okay, so Jinu is their leader, and he's a freaking hunk. I mean, like, he's a pretty cool guy. He's like, you know, a cool, like, he's meant to look cool, like, cool. Jinu is voiced by An Yo Sup. He used to be a human, but to protect and provide for his family, he sold his soul to Guima. Or, that's the story we hear at first. And Guima is just like a evil devil-like entity, I guess you could say, because he's like in charge of all the demons, and he's the one that's collecting people's souls. So he's like a devil. Oh, I don't want to leave out that Ken Jeong voices the manager of the Huntrix band. And I know that I'm kind of being light on introducing the cast, but I do only want to put forward the characters who drive the story. So that's why I'm not going to introduce everybody. Okay, so in the first few minutes of the movie, they give you exactly what the title implies. Talk about respecting your audience's time. As soon as we start, the movie's called K-pop Demon Hunters. As soon as we start, we get a K-pop song and people fighting demons. We open with a K-pop concert that made me want to dance like a teenage girl. The song was really catchy, perhaps too catchy, very catchy, the song. I'm working on the Trump impression. I'll get it down one day. Really catchy. The song catchy. It'll get there. So, along with the K-pop concert, we also get a fight with demons that starts on an airplane and ends on stage. So the girls of the band realize that their plane has been commandeered by some demons. And, they kicked their asses. What else more can I say about that? They kicked their asses, and then they parachute down to the stage. And I'm not laughing to make fun of it. It's just that it really hooks you. It works. What they did work there. It was a great opening with a great song. And the animation is really good too. So right off the bat, the first impression of the movie is like, I'm shocked. I'm talking about from like little facial expressions to the lyrics of songs. Everything was very well done. I feel like if there was something to pick apart in the movie, it would be like some of the comedy. I don't know. It's very like simple and a low-hanging fruit type of comedy, but for the audience it works. It's not meant for people. It's not meant for 30-plus-year-olds to watch this and look for well-written comedy. This is going to be a movie for kids, or this is a movie for kids. But anyway, from the very beginning, I was like, wait, okay, I was definitely wrong about this movie. And the first time it was on, I only saw bits and pieces. So because I like walked in and got stuck on the opening, watched the entire opening, walked away. And every time I walked through the living room and this movie was on, I kept getting stuck. So I was like, okay, I have to sit down and watch this. So the backstory ends up being like this. So for centuries, these hunters use their voices to protect people from demons. And the demons are like sucking out people's souls. And the souls go to Guima, the guy that we mentioned earlier. So it's like a responsibility that gets passed down to what seems like it's always three females who just walk the normal world as singers who use their voices to kill demons. So as centuries go on, the type of music they make obviously has to change because the world is changing. So in today's world, the hunters that are protecting the people are a K-pop band. Now, we're also told very early in the movie that they're at the point now where they could close off the demon world for good. And the way that they do that is, I guess, just by gaining popularity. That's how I'm gonna say. That's how I'm gonna say it from now on. The way that they do that is by gaining popularity. There's a thing that they call the Hone Moon. That once they seal that, the underworld will be blocked off for good. And they're so close to sealing it, they feel like they're one song away. Oy, what? Do you want me to explain the Hone Moon to you? You don't know what that is by now? Fine, I'll explain. Sit back. Yeah, the Hone Moon is a shield that the first hunters created to protect our world. Yeah, so every generation, the next trio of singers build that Hone Moon stronger and stronger and stronger until now it's almost sealed. It's almost complete. Now, where was I? So the opening scene, they're performing at this concert after they just beat up some demons. And this is the last concert of their tour, right before they're able to go on a nice long break because they've been working so hard. I don't want to overlook that because that is very important, like that we emphasize or that you guys realize how hard they've been working to seal the Hone Moon. There's a reason for that. And I say that because as soon as their break starts, Rumi, who's the lead singer of the band, just as Zoe and Mira are going to relax on the couch and they finally sit down, she releases their new song and that ends their break. She ruins it for them. Like, they were so excited to take a break, but she released their song, forcing them to go on a promo run. So this part's subtle, but it's telling us that Rumi is in more of a rush than the other girls to get the Hone Moon sealed. Okay, so in the meantime, in the demon world, the demons who got their butt kicked on the plane, they're like now being shamed in front of Guima. He's, scolding them in front of all these demons. By the way, he just looks like a volcano fire thing. Then we get introduced to Jinu as this is happening. And he's just like entering with a diss song, basically. In front of all these demons, he's kind of just like dissing Guima, like saying that their life source is dying because they're not collecting enough souls. And Guima responds with, Jinu, I gave you that voice. And you dare to mock me? But he wasn't trying to mock him. He was just telling him, look, we have the skills that we could try to beat them at their own game. Why don't we make a boy band and go up to Earth and we can do the same thing. With music, we can take souls instead of, how the girls are protecting people. They can become influences in the real world and steal people's souls and just suck them like a vacuum in Luigi's Mansion. What? After he proposes this, we get a little bit of a backstory into their history. Guima and Genu, they have history. Genu is basically saying, hey, if I do this for you and I get these souls, I just want to get rid of my memories. They establish early on that there's like a little bit of bad blood between them. Guima is obviously like holding these memories over his head. So now we go back and we see the girls. The girls are getting ready to like perform their new song, but then they show Rumi in the next room as the girls are like rehearsing the song. They show Rumi in the next room looking at these marks on her arms, which are marks that demons have. So Rumi is half demon, and it's something that she's been hiding from her friends all this time. What, bitch? Don't you want to watch it more now? How can you put this movie down now? You want to see what's going on. She's half demon, half human. And then during the rehearsal, when Rumi's out there singing, her voice cracks, and everybody reacts as if, like, she must never mess up. So she takes another stab at it, but her voice cracks again, and it makes her run off. She's embarrassed. She's, like, kind of just trying to figure out what's going on. I know what you're thinking. Why don't she just tell her friends? It's because they have, like, a leader, trainer, sensei type of lady who's in charge of them, who's been telling her since she was a little kid that she has to hide these marks. She can't let anybody know that that she's half demon, because they would end up wanting to kill her. So if she just gets the honeymoon sealed, the marks will be gone because the demon world will be closed off. They'll no longer spread, and she'll be good. So in her head, she's just like, okay, fine, I'll keep this a secret. We'll get the honeymoon sealed. Nobody ever has to know. But then we see her like run up to the top of a building. Her voice keeps on messing up. She's seeing the demon marks on her body are starting to like spread. They're becoming more noticeable. She lets out a loud scream. But then Zoe and Mira, the other two bandmates, are like, oh, your voice is cracking? Let's go get these, what did they call them? These special tonics that there's this doctor who makes these homemade tonics that will help your voice. You know, she obviously knows it's not her voice, but she just goes along with it to show that she's putting forth effort to make her voice better. While just as they're leaving that doctor, you get a slow-mo of some straight-up hot smoke shows walking their way. It's the band. It's the demon boy band in their human form. And they got them, they got them all like decked out, muscular abs. And the girls are all gushing over them as they're approaching. But Genu like bumps into Rumi, knocking her to the floor, knocking all the tonics to the floor. And it looks like he's going to help her up, but then he does this thing where he like moves his hand and kind of just like dusts his shoulder off. And he says something along the lines of like, walk much? Or he's like, he says, watch yourself. And she gets up and she's like, watch yourself. So like she emphasized the wrong part of the word, which I thought was so cool. Am I the only one who like feels that she emphasized the wrong part of the word? But I thought that was cool. I feel like it was an embarrassing moment for her where the response was so quick she couldn't really think to say it correctly, because you would say, you watch yourself. That would be the proper way to say it. Am I harping on this too much? She says, watch yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Whatever. Fuck it. Then they end up hearing some music in the distance, and they're like, what is that? They go to check it out, and it's the boy band performing in the middle of this like town, and everybody's watching them, and they're killing this song, Soda Pop, My Little Soda Pop. Ooh. And the girls are like enjoying the song a little bit. Like they're like, oh, these people are jerks, but this song is pretty catchy. And then they notice the demon marks on their arms. So they're like, oh shit, they're demons. But like, I guess they're debating, should we kill them right here, right now? But, you know, they can't do it in front of everybody in the city. So they have to wait. But at the same time, they're like, wait, why aren't they trying to hurt anybody if they're demons? They're just singing. It's like a confusing situation for them. Then at the end of the song, the band introduces themselves as the Saja Boys. And just like a bonus tip here, because, you know, I gotta teach you guys something while I'm here. Their band name has like a hidden meaning to it. The Korean word saja can mean lion, I guess. So that's their logo, is a lion. But saja is also associated with like a Grim Reaper type figure whose job is to escort souls to the afterlife after their death. So that's a pretty cool little tip that you could tell your friends next time you watch this movie with them. And that was my news segment, just the tips. So after that, the Saja Boys are making an appearance on this little game show to promote. These people are like marketing geniuses. They're like playing games on this TV show. And this is where the Huntrix girls are planning on like destroying them. They're watching from behind the scenes, and I guess they're like, as soon as the show's done, we're gonna kick some ass. But they peep. What happens is they peep them. They peep them from the side of their eye. They wasn't even really looking over there, but they peeped them. They peeped them. So so they kind of call them out. They announce to the audience that, oh, we also brought special guests with us, Huntrix, and they weren't prepared for this. They're wearing leather suits, and they had to slide down a slide to enter, and they couldn't slide because of the leather. They were just kind of making that squeaky sound. And this is the first time we see the audience not looking at Huntrix like in amazement, like that they're perfect idols. They're kind of all just like, what the hell are they doing? But after they all exit the stage, they end up getting into a fight. The Huntrix and the Saja Boys end up fighting, which is a playful fight scene. It's not one of the very serious ones, but it is. It was cool. I laughed a couple times during this fight scene. Genu slips on a puddle as he's trying to make after he's trying to he said like a cool line and went to leave. He slips on a puddle, and as he's leaving, he's doing this little giggle. I thought that part was a little funny, but back to it. So Genu leaves. Rumi chases him. The other people from the Saja Boys vanish, and they just turn everybody in this place to demons for the Huntrix girls to fight. They just end up having to fight a bunch of old men demons. Now, this is an important part. Genu and Rumi, they're fighting, and at some point, Rumi's shirt rips, revealing her demon marks. And her friends are right there, a hole gets blasted through the wall, and it's slow motion of the girls turning around to see, and if they turn around, they see that she's a demon, and kind of F's everything up if that happens. So Genu realizes he's like a hunter that's also a demon, and then he realizes how scared she is when the hole breaks in the wall, and he helps her. He flies over to her, wraps her arm up, and then pushes her away. And then he leaves. This way, Rumi could go and help the girls be covered up so she don't have to worry about them seeing her marks. I just thought that was so romantical. But that part really does have layers, because you're like, okay, was he actually trying to help her in that moment? Or did he think of a plan where he can use this to his own benefit? And that is good storytelling. That is what I mean by this movie was surprisingly good. Next, we get Genu kind of leaning into what happened between him and Rumi, because he sends her an invitation to meet up privately. And he sends it he sends this lion entity ghost thing to her house, and the invitation is in its mouth. So, and this lion, I think it stole the show for a lot of viewers, because I think you expect it to be intimidating, but it's just really goofy. Knocks over a plant. You have to see this scene for yourself if you haven't. And then also, after he gives her the invitation, and then he melts into the ground or portals himself into the ground to leave. He's slowly going down and looks over at the pot one last time. I love that part. Anyway, she goes to meet up with Genu, but she just wants to cut his head off. But he put a mannequin there. She comes up and kills it. It's a decoy that he put there. She comes up and chops its head off. But and he's kind of just trying to talk it out with her, hey, relax, dodging punches. I think that he has a point here. I think you deserve to hear me out. I think I deserve for you to hear me out, because I protected you. I helped you cover up your scars. If I was against you, I would have let your friends see that. But she is so against trusting a demon. She's like, you don't feel, there's no reason for me to trust you. He's like, all we do is feel. And then he kind of goes into his backstory of he was broke, his family was starving every night, and he would try to like sing on the streets for money, but he was making nothing. He was going nowhere until one day he heard Guima's voice in his ear. It's like a sold your soul kind of thing. Like he sold his soul, and his family from there on out was living comfortable. Their lives completely changed. So there are some pretty deep themes in this movie that I don't think kids would pick up on as much as adults. But we had the same thing with movies when we were younger. You ever like go back and watch a movie from your childhood and be like, oh, this wasn't fun? But he says that overnight he was successful, but his patterns kept spreading, and the voice, Guima's voice in his ear, kept getting stronger and stronger until it consumed him entirely, and he was condemned to the demon world, leaving his mom and sister behind. And this kind of like shuts Rumi up. Like she pretends like she's being tough, like she don't care, but she was definitely affected by this conversation. And it's obvious because her head isn't in it anymore. From that conversation on for the rest of the movie, her head just isn't. The goal is changing for her a little bit. Then we get like a sequence of scenes where it's showing like the Saja boys blowing up. It's showing their rise, and then we also get a little bit of the girls fighting demons throughout this. And we see Rumi like with one of these little demons pinned up against the wall. She asks the demon like, "Are you a prisoner too?" The demon like doesn't even understand what she's saying. Mira comes over and kills the demon, and she's kind of looking at her like, bitch, were you trying to talk to this demon for a second? Like, what the shit? But anyway, after that sequence, we get the Huntrix band is together talking about ways that they could slow down the Saja boys' rise. And they come up with the idea to write a diss song. A demon with no feelings doesn't deserve to live. But they did a great job with this because before this point, we also, as viewers, didn't have any feelings for these demons. We're just like, okay. But now at this point, we're hearing them write this diss song, and we hear Mira like suggest the lines, "A demon with no feelings doesn't deserve to live." And we're just like, yeesh, Mira, take it easy. So at a singing event that both bands are attending, Huntrix notices that half of the fans are going to go to the Saja boys, so they decide to combine their tables so that all the fans get an autograph from both bands. This way they're not losing anybody. And Rumi's like trying to soften Genu a little bit. Like after he meets this little girl, she's like, "Why don't you listen to these voices instead?" And then she starts to clap for him, like, "Woo, Genu," and gets the audience to clap for him. She's trying to make him like influence him to not be evil. And I feel bad for her because she's in a really tough spot. Later on, she's like changing the lyrics to the song that they're writing. Well, considering changing the lyrics, she's just writing alone in her room. I guess she's not really alone. That like cute tiger thing is there with her. And then Mira comes knocking on her door, and she means business. She wants to argue. You know how girls are. I'm kidding. She's like calling her out for acting strange, for cheering for Genu at the signing event. She just seems like she's not all in anymore. And then she finds the lyrics changing, and she's like, calls her out on that too. And Rumi just tries to explain that she thinks that a hateful song isn't going to be the song that helps them. And Rumi saying like, "I promise I'm not hiding anything from you," while she's literally holding all these items behind her back, and that tiger is hiding behind her back. That's a pretty cool shot. Meanwhile, the Saja boys are just still growing. They're getting bigger, and you hear over a news station that the amount of missing people have doubled. So like I'm like, oh shit, these people are dying when they steal their souls. I thought like they just turned them into like a loser kinda, but no, I guess the people are dying or turning into demons. I'm not sure if there's a difference. Okay, so Rumi comes up with this big idea. Now she invites Genu to meet with her one-on-one. Tables are turning. Yeah, so they meet up there. This is a really cool scene. It's like a little bit funny, a little bit serious. She proposes to him that he sabotages his band from winning the Idol Awards, which is going to be the time where the honeymoon is sealed. If they perform and win successfully, they'll be able to seal the honeymoon and get rid of demons for good. So she's telling him this, and she's like, basically all you got to do is lose and let us win, and then you will no longer be controlled by Guima. And he says that he's going to go along with it. She's just trying hard to make everything work for everyone while trying to keep a secret on both sides. And you can tell it's just getting so difficult for her. But since she was a kid, it's been beaten into her head that she can't let anybody know that she's part demon. She feels like everyone's going to hate her when they find out. So this is why she's hiding it the whole time. I know it seems like, obviously, a person will just tell their friends. But I think that they did a good job at making the odds big enough so that she doesn't feel like a stupid character making stupid decisions. And now Rumi is like being super upfront about her feelings about the song, and she's considering... she suggests to her bandmates that she just wants to scrap the song entirely. She doesn't think that this is what's going to help them. They get into an argument about it, and shortly after, there's a fight on a train with a whole bunch of demons, and Mira is like, I'm going to need you to beat up these demons and sing this song while we do it, so just to prove that you haven't switched up on gang. They ended up not being able to save the citizens on the train, which is leaves them sad and defeated. Although she was trying, their argument is what messed them up and made them take too long to kill all the demons. I'm explaining this like a little fifth grader. But if you watched the movie, you know what I'm saying. Holler if you watched the movie. Couch, couch, couch. Rumi and Jinu are hanging together with the with the tiger and the bird still. And they make a little joke about the hat that the bird wears and laugh about it. So the dynamic is changing so much where every other time we saw them have a conversation, it was strictly business. But now we're seeing them hang out more so as friends, and it's lighthearted. And then they go into this love song together, which was, I don't know, I think this was one of the more cheesy songs throughout the movie. But then again, I'm a grown man. Another good thing about this part of the movie is that it really, even as the viewer, you don't know where Jinu's head is, because he really does seem like he's changing and he wants to make a difference and he wants them to win. But at the same time, we get a different side of him when he gets pulled down to Guima. Guima's like, oh, for a second there, I thought that you were actually believing everything you were saying in that song. And he just kind of laughs. And then we get this scene where Guima is showing us what actually happened between Jinu and his family. It wasn't that he just sold his soul and that his family lived a great life. I think that what it was showing was that he left his family for the great life. And these are the memories that haunt him, like his last memories of leaving his family so that he can go and live an abundant life. This is what Guima holds over his head and haunts him with. And this is ultimately what he's trying to get rid of when he wins the Idol Awards. He wants to get rid of the memories. That's the main thing he's doing it for. I think that they did a great job at not showing their hand so early to before the climax of the movie. But let's go to the ending scene. Now we're at the Idol Awards. Huntrix is performing. They agreed to perform their song, Golden. They agreed to scrap the diss song that they were writing. Everything's looking good. The Saja boys get into an argument, and it forces them to go first on stage to perform. So in her head, she's just like, oh, perfect. He's sabotaging his band from winning the Idol Awards. As the girls are performing on stage, Zoe and Mira are in the backstage waiting for their cue to come out. They see their manager get taken by a demon. So a demon comes up and takes the manager. The girls are like, hell no, we after this bitch. And they go running and chase them. Now, Rumi's on stage alone performing the song. The lights go out and the song switches to the diss song that they were going to scrap. Now I'm shaking in my little space boots. We're realizing that the two girls on stage are demons pretending to be Zoe and Mira. And she doesn't know this yet. So the lights go out. They start playing the diss song beat over the speakers. And Rumi's like, wait, when did we agree to do this? But she kind of just goes with it and starts performing. And then the two demon decoys that look like her bandmates start ripping apart her outfit. They reveal her marks. And the music stops. The whole crowd is shocked. She's shocked. She's terrified. She doesn't know what to do. It looks like they have like a public breakup on stage. And then obviously her bandmates come back to the stage and see her with her demon marks revealed. and they don't know how to feel about it. Ultimately, they like turn on her. They lift their weapons to her because she lets out this scream out of frustration, and they leave her behind. She walks away, and she's looking for Jinu now because she feels played. Ay, heartbreak, deception. Oh, the agony. Yeah, so she finds Jinu, and she's kind of like, what we had was real. You know, one of those arguments they end up having, and he's just like, no, I did this to get rid of these memories. I lied to you. I really left my family behind. She's trying to tell him, oh, this is just your demon talking. And he's like, no, it's not. It's not my demon talking. Like, get a hint. But you just feel so bad for her in this moment because her friends left her. Now the person she was trying to save has deceived her. All the lies she's been trying to balance throughout the whole movie are just unraveling right in front of her, and she can't do anything about it. And it unraveled in the worst way possible, like in front of everybody on TV, in front of a crowd. And like we're starting to see the results of like not trusting yourself, the results of the shame being passed down from generation to generation. Because remember, these girls were taught to hide their feelings. They literally say it like a couple times throughout the movie, like hide your feelings, don't show your flaws. This is what they were taught from the generations before them, and this is the position it got them in. So we see, like, in real time, you know, their band dropping down the charts and the Saja Boys going all the way up. We hear an announcement that the Saja Boys won the Idol Awards just by default. At the same time, we're hearing Guima's voice now pop up in everybody else's ear. The manager, Zoe, Mira, they're all starting to hear these lies in their ear, talking to them so negatively. So now they're all in a trance, marching towards what's going to be the final Saja Boys performance. So even, you know, Zoe and Mira are even in the crowd walking towards it. The manager's in the crowd walking towards it. And they start performing. And this song is sick. Yeah, this song is the bomb. Bringing back the bomb. Yeah, but their lyrics are like, get down on your knees, I'm gonna be your idol type shit, Illuminati type shit. Oh wait, I almost forgot to mention, this very powerful scene in between the people marching into the performance and the performance happening, we see Rumi confronting their leader. I forget this character's name. She's a woman, and she was the one telling Rumi her whole life to hide her scars. And she confronts her, and she's like, if this is the Hone Moon I'm supposed to protect, I'll be glad to see it destroyed. Because it is true, like, you guys are, it's a hateful system that kind of disguises itself as being heroic. Anyway, she walks into their performance and just starts singing. She's singing just a cappella. She's singing akiwaki. That's what we used to call it in the streets. She's singing akiwaki. We used to say that we did. It is like one of them, like, let's go moments, because she just goes in there, she sings, she's like pouring her heart out that, you know, she's been lying all this time. Her bandmates join in, and they kind of make up in the song. They all know the words somehow. And it's working. The crowd is turning. They're all starting to fall in love with Huntrix again. And Guima is pissed. He like arises and he's trying to stop her with a hyper beam and sending demons at her. She's blocking this powerful, I don't know what the hell it's called. It's like a Dragon Ball Z move. She's blocking it, and Jinu comes and stands in front of it. So he's dying. They talk a little bit, and she's like, no, I wanted to set you free. And he goes, you did. And he gives her his soul. I think she cuts through Guima's whole entire entity body, whatever the hell it is. He's like a fire. She saves the day. Jinu's gone now. They're all dead or gone. And now they're starting a new Hone Moon built on a new foundation. How touching is that? The band's back together. Jinu died. Isn't that touching? Okay, I can't do recast corner with this movie just because, like, I'm not going to recast voice actors. And it all just seems like these roles were made specifically for these girls. I don't want to recast voices. But we could do Flashback Rental, my other favorite segment, where I suggest movies to you based off of this one. So if you like this, you might like these movies. I know this movie isn't old and it isn't a sleeper, but I do think that this is a good movie to recommend to people who haven't watched it yet. Encanto. I did have a hard time coming up with two movies to suggest for this movie. So Encanto has, like, you know, kind of like generational trauma being passed down, and also like a family navigating its problems and a lot of singing. So I think that that's a good movie to suggest. So the next one's not going to be too on the nose. I know that these recommendations are probably ass, but the next one is kind of like, it has to do with monsters, has to do with a group of friends fighting these monsters. And the next one I'm saying is going to be Scooby-Doo from 2002. Okay, lastly, my score for K-pop Demon Hunters is going to be a fat 4.5. I don't want to call it a perfect movie. It wasn't made specifically for I'm not the demographic, but I really loved it. It's a 4.5. Anyway, if you want to find out what movie I'm watching next so that you could keep up with me and watch the movie too before the next video comes out, just sign up for my Substack. It's linked down below. It's completely free. It's just the email list where I'll be sending you emails about different shit. You know what email lists are. Thank you for watching. Be kind. Subscribe.